Hey, it's been a while, man. Hey, that Christmas break had us. Whew.
It's been 2 weeks.
Man, it has been 2 weeks. This is the first episode of 2021, man. I'm excited.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah.
How was your week, sis?
Ooh, let me fast forward to my day first off, because I'm all discombobulated. Like,
Lord.
but with the title of the show, Purpose, Pain to Purpose, to be exact, but purpose. Everything happens for a reason. You know, that's my little philosophy or whatever.
Exactly.
And I left the house on time. I dropped my baby off at the babysitter. Went to go get my eyebrows threaded and tinted, like as you see.
Yeah,
you know,
I see the tint.
Looking
Can't even
good
see.
or whatever.
0% tint over there.
And I had time. I knew I was gonna have time to stop at the store, get me something to wear, and like get over here like before the time that I end up pulling up. Yeah. All type of traffic on 635. I guess there was some sort of wreck. So I'm like, you know what? I can't take this no more. I'm finna get off. So I got off on Forest and Idalia. Tell me why. Soon as I get off and I'm at the light, I look down and now it's clear. I'm like,
man, it was right under the bridge.
oh my gosh. Like, I was so irritated. But again, everything happens for a reason. And that was a test for me. I struggle with being impatient. Yeah. And I failed that horribly, because had I just waited just a couple more minutes, I would have been through. But I got off, and that me rushing the situation set me back.
Yeah.
It set me back a few minutes. So,
I mean, you got here. You know, we started at 2. You got here at 1:59 in about 30 seconds.
I was supposed to be here at 1:45. Like,
well, I mean, shoot, like when you talk about tests, so let's talk about me. So, of course, we had our conversation earlier this morning. Shoot, I just got suspended from work for voicing my opinion. What's my issue?
Oh,
yeah.
That mouth of his.
Y'all know my problem.
That mouth of his.
You know, I'm from Chicago, from the streets. So y'all know, you know, in order to get respect, you got to get it from me. And yeah. Telling people how to do their job. I should have just stayed in my own lane.
Right. Be like, you know what? That's out of my pay rate.
Whatever happens, man. Hey, we're in this episode of Purpose right now. So whatever happens, man, I'm just gonna rock with it. I'm stashed a little bit, so I'm a little straight. You know what I mean? But keeping a smile on my face, staying positive, you know what? With that being said, we said the title of this episode is called Pain to Purpose, and we got a very, very special guest. Christina brought this gentleman to my attention, man, back in September.
I think so. August, September, yeah. It could have been even before then, but yeah.
And we both believe we struck gold, but we got him here. We got him here, man.
As soon as I came across him, I was like, I need. He needs to be in Dallas.
And we did everything we needed to do to get this gent here, man. Like,
I'm so thankful.
I'm gonna let Christina introduce the show.
I'm gonna let him introduce itself. Be grown.
We just gonna pass it on over to you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. When you said it actually gave me chills, because it's gonna. You said struck gold. It's gonna be all over the world, man. And but to introduce myself, you know, I'm Charles Dittler. I'm born and raised Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay.
Grew up in foster care. Like you said, the streets. I was on the streets. Homeless, stayed in group homes, shelters, and things like that. And it's crazy, as I made a post not too long ago that said, in life, we all think what we should be or what we're supposed to be, but God will put you where you need to be.
Exactly.
And I just felt like, as far as my situation growing up, like I needed to be there. And because, and then looking at now, it's like, wow, like, all that happened. It was like small tests to lead me up into the bigger test.
Exactly.
So I went through all that, graduated. I graduated in 05, Huntington High School, class 05. So I'm 33 years old. Had several jobs, along the way. I worked for the cable company. I also worked at the boat.
I think everybody worked at the boat in
Louisiana. Another, which I won't dive too deep into, but another job I had a male entertainment gig too as well.
I believe that. Listen.
Hey, Chris, didn't I come to you at one point in my life when I was struggling? Like, yo, I think I'm about to start selling some peanuts up in this
I
joint.
think we all done been there, done that. Like,
I did some mail entertainment for a while. I was selling cars, so I was just back and forth trying to figure it out. And in school, they always ask you, where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
Yeah.
And I tell people, I was actually trying out for the fire department. And I've made this joke before. It's crazy how years I went for trying out for Shreveport Fire Department. I always wanted to be a fireman. I never planned on being on fire, man. So
Too soon.
Man, when it's crazy when you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans.
Yeah.
So growing up and going through all of that, I always knew I wanted to give back.
Yeah.
And I wanted to pay it forward. I want to talk to young kids that's been in that same seat that I was once in, and just to tell them, like, hey, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And so you put it off for so long, and then boom,
it just happens.
I catch on fire.
Right.
So one day, left work, and everybody knows my besides fishing, my favorite thing to do is sit around a fire barrel when it's cold, drink a cold one, and just listen to some old school music.
Yeah.
It's just so relaxing.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because growing up, I used to see the old school cats doing that.
Exactly.
And I'm like, this is funny.
Yeah.
Right, like this way.
That's all I
Like,
want to do.
right.
Especially with all the things going on in the world.
Exactly.
You just want to be around good, genuine people where you're safe, and just have a good time. So that's my idea of having a good time. And so I had been using hydraulic oil throughout the weekend. I had actually got hydraulic oil from my job. I was working at Frac Tech. I was in the oil field for going on 5 years.
Okay.
And it's crazy because you're working around all this dangerous equipment and these irons with all this pressure and stuff on them. And I come home one day and I run out of hydraulic oil. And so I had earlier that day, I had filled up a can with diesel. Now in the country, when you have a can of gas and diesel, the diesel is supposed to be yellow. The diesel can is yellow. The gas can is supposed to be red. In a rush, I put the diesel in the red can. And it literally came to bite me in the ass later that night. So that night, me and my ex-girlfriend, we stayed right next door to her father. So he actually had a gas can outside that he was using for his lawnmower. So it had regular gasoline.
Regular gasoline.
Now, don't get me wrong. It was still a bonehead decision to pick up what I thought was a diesel can anyway. But it's less likely. It's not as combustible as gas.
Right.
So as I go to grab it and pour it, luckily nobody was around me. And he had just said, my ex-girlfriend's father, Mr. Derek Wright, saved my life. He had just said, Charles, he said, be careful. And as soon as he said that, I started to pour because the fire had kind of died down. So I'm just trying to liven it up. And I hear, and I said, I yelled out a loud cuss word. Like I knew what that sound meant. The fumes had caught back in the can.
Yeah.
And it was gas. And it had about 2 or 3 gallons in it. So it blows up. Even in local neighborhoods around, like they later told me that they heard the boom.
Wow.
So it blows me off my feet. And see as far as my left hand, like all this is skin graft. All this was tattoos. The can was in this hand. So when I went to try to release, that's why he got the worst of it. So this was actually to the bone. So 3rd, 4th degree, whatever you want to call it.
4th degree.
This was all bone. My hand was actually locked up like this, but in the hospital they give you those little balls.
Yeah.
So I worked out. I've had a couple surgeries, so that kind of opened it up a little bit. And so I'm laying on the ground screaming, "Y'all put me out! I'm on fire!" So a guy named Mr. Rudolph and his son had jumped on top of me with jackets, but that wasn't working. So it just so happens, ironically, my ex-girlfriend's father, Mr. Derek Wright, had a fire extinguisher on his barbecue pit. And when I tell that story, people are like, he had a fire extinguisher on a barbecue pit.
I mean, but
he's that.
He's that guy that he's always ahead. 10 steps ahead of everybody else. Yeah. One of the smartest guys I've ever met. So I'm thankful he had it. So he had the fire extinguisher and the thing about it is, you're gonna die from the smoke inhalation first before you go to actual burns. So next thing I remember is him on top of me. And I'm like, oh, thank God. So now I'm on the ground smoking like a cigarette. Uh, and
Mess.
smoking like a Newport cigarette.
Not Newport.
And luckily, I had on my I hadn't changed my clothes from work that day. I had on my FR, my fire retardant
yeah.
pants. So that's what saves the bottom part. So I got burned from the waist up. So I remember saying, like in the motivational video I did, I remember saying, y'all take care of my son. Because as a parent, your child automatically,
Exactly.
take care of my son. Forget me. And I remember them saying, hey, it's gonna be okay. Don't even talk like that. Ambulance on the way, call 911. And so I remember sitting there roughly 10, 15 minutes. By this time, the nerves, I started becoming numb to the pain. Nerves had kicked in. So then when the ambulance got there, I remember them saying, we got to hurry up and get him to the hospital. My body had started swelling up. So they had to get me to the hospital to put that trach in my neck to give me an extra breathing passageway. And the last thing I remember is getting in the helicopter and them putting the IV in my arm. And so I kind of start waking up, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks later, because I'm in a medically induced coma. So the morphine, the fentanyl, I don't know where I am. So I remember kind of, vaguely waking up as they start weaning me off of it. The worst part of it was the hydro room. I remember being in the bed, and they
Charles, do me a favor, scoot over some to Christine. I want to make sure you stay in the picture.
And I remember them saying, Charles, time for a hydro room. And it's like, because in the hydro room, they take you in, they take all the Curelex bandages off your body, and they scrub you. And this has to be done consistently every day until they get the dead skin off.
Oh, okay.
A lot of bicyclists may be able to relate road rash, whatever they call it, when they skin their arm up. Same thing. They did. So I remember I posted a picture when I was actually in the hospital bed that night. The shirt was still burnt onto my skin. I had seen my tattoo. So it's crazy to think that night my tattoo was still there, but after the scrubbing, worst pain I've ever had to deal with. I don't wish that on nobody because it's literally torture.
Yeah.
But it has to happen. Yeah. It has to happen in order for the new skin
to grow,
to come about. So I did that roughly. I did that like every day for 3 months because they have to do it every day to get new fresh bandages. So you don't catch a infection. Yeah. They have to do it every day. And I just remember sitting there, and I give people this visual. I'm sitting just like this. There's a you ever seen like at the older folks' home? They have like a little toilet.
Yeah, a little stool.
It's like a stool.
Yeah.
And so I remember sitting there after they was able to get me off the bed. I upgraded to like now they're pushing me in with a wheelchair. And I remember sitting on that stool, and what they would do is they take lukewarm water and they spray you down as they're cutting the bandages off. And as they take those bandages off, your flesh is being peeled from your body. And they'll give you morphine,
right?
But like the doctors told me, that I've dealt with gunshot victims, stab wounds, nothing compares to the burns. So they can't give you enough morphine. So you just sit there, man. You go through the pain. I remember sitting there. And it's kind of like on the movie, was it Get Out? Where he was like in a trance.
Yeah, Get Out.
That's how it was. I remember sitting there like this and tears just coming out my eyes. And I never complained. I knew is that being the most painful part of my life, I had to remind myself to not blame God, but believe that there has to be something greater on the other side.
Exactly.
It has to be. There has to be a reason why I'm going through this pain. And so I go through that for 3 months. I get out the hospital in 2. I was in ICU most of the time. So now I'm in rehabilitation. I'm having to learn how to pretty much walk again. I'm weak. I'm having to do just basic stuff.
Yeah.
And so I go through 20 surgeries over the course of time. My chin, this tissue came from my arm. My neck, when I got burnt, I was limited on my mobility. So this flap you see right here, this chunk of tissue, actually came from my thigh muscle.
Okay.
So it's scary because the doctor showed me the pictures after the fact. He had you can almost see the bone because he had to get arteries to attach to and make sure that tissue still lives. And it was scary because it's like you looking at yourself on an autopsy. And I was like, it was scary, and they have your eyes taped down. I'm like, man. So that was probably the rough. They didn't even expect for me to walk that night or wake up that night. They were thinking I was gonna wake up the next morning. I was woke an hour out of surgery and walking down the hallway with the little whatever you call it.
Yeah, little walker.
Little walker. So that was probably the roughest surgery I had. So we go through all those surgeries, and the summer of 19, was that 19? Last year was 20. The summer of 19, I go get that fire barrel. I said, Mr. Derry, you mind if I come get that fire barrel? He said, the one you almost died on? I said, yeah, that one. He said, all right, crazy motherfucker. Yeah, come on. I always had this mindset, like, man, you whoop me. I want my rematch. You know, you got lucky that time. I want my rematch. So it wasn't a fire. Like I tell people, it's not the gun that we scared of. It's the bullet hitting my skin. So it wasn't a fire. It's the fire being on me. So that wasn't the issue. But I needed that rematch, so to speak.
Mentally, to get yourself prepared and not be feared from doing it.
Because I knew what it was. It's like if you're driving a car and you get ejected. I'm cool with driving a car again. I knew I should have had on my damn seatbelt.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Right.
So I know next time that I'm gonna look into the can and make sure it's not gas.
Exactly.
Matter of fact, I'm not using neither. I'm just gonna stick with oil.
Like
I've been doing. So I'm sitting down. I got the hydraulic oil, and I light the fire. Got the old school playing. Sipping on some Crown and Coke. Feeling good, and pain to purpose comes through my mind, and like a chill, like just now, I just got a chill, like a chill literally goes through my body, and I'm like, that's it. Me going forward with this mission in life, I'm gonna call it pain to purpose. Now, obviously, I didn't invent that. We've all heard that before, but as far as my mission is gonna be pain to purpose. I reached out to several people as far as logos. My mindset with the logo was, it's not a business. It's an organization that's going to be built on changing lives. But make no mistakes about it, millions and millions will go through the organization to help people.
Of course.
So from a business mind point, I thought about a video I watched, Eric Thomas. Eric
That's
Thomas.
my guy right there.
He said, why do you think McDonald's, Nike, Apple, he said, why do you think their logo is so simple? When you have $1 billion product, it speaks for itself.
Exactly.
Right.
So we don't need to do all the extra stuff. So I said, with my logo going forward, it has to be, and I was in a rush at first. I was in a rush, like, I'm ready to get it. I'm like, hold on, slow down. Slow down. It's going to come. It's going to come. So what's crazy is my ex, she ended up calling me about a doctor's appointment. Somebody had called her to remind me because she was on the list or whatever. So she calls me, and we end up talking about, like, man, I'm trying to get a logo. So she said, my sister in Dallas, Carly, shout out to Carly, she's like, she does logos. And I'm like, well, I'll reach out to her. I almost did not, but something told me to call her. So I called her. And it's crazy because me and my ex wasn't supposed to be talking. Like, we're not together, but that happened. I called her. She sent me 3 logos that day. I pulled over on the side of the road when she sent this one.
Yeah.
I was like, what's your Cash App?
Yeah.
I'm about to send it to you right now with some. I'm like, that's it. And she actually sent me one with the solid red and the one that's broken up.
I like the one that's
obviously
broken
the one
up.
broken up. Because it has to symbolize being broken.
Yes.
Everybody has been in a dark place in their life.
Exactly.
They've been broken or whatever the case may be. So the pain, it has to represent that. The purpose is white, heaven, purity and stuff like that. So that's the purpose. And I said, as far as the T, now it's a T.
It looked like a cross.
Yeah,
From a distance, it looks like a cross.
It's a T, but as far as I'm concerned,
it's a cross.
It's a cross.
Exactly.
And that's why I tell people when they ask me about it. Because I want it to be for everybody, but I understand people have different religious beliefs and things like that.
Exactly.
So I don't want to get too deep off into that because I want it to be for everybody. But as far as I'm concerned, that's just like that O.
Yeah.
You can say it's a 0.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as far as I'm concerned, it's a cross because when I've been at my lowest and when I've been at my highest, God has always been the center. He's always been there. So when I explain this to Carly, that's the third one she sent me, and I was like, man,
this is money right here, man.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that logo, man. It's very simple, but after you described it, man, it speaks volumes now.
And again, it's like, you know, you don't have to explain it. When people see it, you know what
They-
it
they-
means.
yeah,
They
we
get
get
it.
it.
Because I've tried to explain it to people. They're like, no, stop.
Yeah.
I already know. You finna waste your time.
Exactly.
You know.
I think the crazy thing is, Christine and I was talking about this before we was going to meet up with you. We wanted to do the least amount of talking as possible because we wanted your story to get across.
Yeah.
But when I told Christine, I was like, but hey, look at the research that I've done. Like, she was like, no.
Nope, let him talk.
I know my sister's like, no. So I was like, I got to get 6 minutes in because I got to say this because it speaks so much about what Charles is going through. And then now what you're telling us a story, we jumped ahead of what we were supposed to do for you to tell a story. It's just nothing but second nature saying, yo, like, what you researched was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So we need to share it.
Yeah,
so,
we still share it.
So here it is. So pain to purpose, right? So the definition of purpose in a noun is the reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists, right? In your stance, it's a verb. It says have one's intention or objective, right? Out of that, you have an objective now to help other people. Now, this is how you found purpose. I'm going to skip the examples of purpose because we already know what some examples of purpose are. It says right here, and I got this from the Greater Good Berkeley EDU website. It caught my attention. Self-educate and read. You sitting back reflecting on just life, and then it just pops in your face.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, man, pain to purpose. Turn hurt into healing others. Man, as much as you do for, children and other adults, that right there just told me, like, this is definitely Charles.
That was your purpose.
Cultivate awe and gratitude. Just being thankful for everything that happened and now seeing the other side. What you talked about, there's got to be something good on the other side. Next is listen to what other people appreciate about you. Like going through that, there had to be some point in life where you were just so self-conscious with yourself. But people were like building you up, like, no, man, screw that. You're like the best dude I know. Like your family, man, you're still handsome as hell. Just things like that. You know what I mean? And then find and build a community. Pain plus purpose. That's your community. And then next, tell your story. You going out and being a motivation. God
your testimonies.
It scares me, man, because like we talked about that, and I was like, sis, man, like we got to talk about this. And she's like, yo, when she gives me the green light, and I know that I'm good to talk about it. I know that we both are there, but when she tell me no, I got to listen to the no's. You know what I mean? Like, but it's just so amazing how that right there lined up. And amongst this right here, I found this one post that you posted. Needless to say, I almost died. The entire front of my body was melted and will never be the same again. Yes, 3rd-degree burns. And it's just like seeing you here now is like you're not dead, you're still alive. Matter of fact, you got a second chance.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
And now that you got a second chance, you listening to not only what the Spirit is telling you listen to what God is telling you, and you're actually walking in your purpose now. And that speaks volumes to just us two, because we've been like, man, like how do we spiritually get there? And it's like now that you're here, we meet you, and it's like, yo, we already know what we got to do. We just got to speak it. And it's like, if you pray about it, if you ask Spirit, if you ask God, there's no time for when He's going to deliver it.
You never know.
You got to be ready, because I'm telling people.
And if you ain't specific, it's just gonna come.
Exactly.
Like, did you know? Did you have any inkling of what your purpose was prior to your accident?
I did not. Like I said, I had always wanted to pay it forward by going back and speaking with kids and giving my testimony as far as, but what's crazy is it's never on your time. It's on
never.
Him. It's His time. And I put it off for so long, and I knew what I wanted to do, but I'm making money in the oil field. It's like before I tell my story, it's like I wanted this big house, fancy cars. Okay, now I can go back, and it's like, no.
None of that matters.
No. Exactly.
That's material stuff. Like
none of that matters. Like, I need you, son. I need you to do your purpose. I need you to fulfill your purpose. So He made me uncomfortable. So I knew what I always wanted to do, but I just kept putting it off, putting it off. Like I said, you want to make him laugh, tell him your plans. So, but once that happened, once that situation happened when I got burned, it was loud and clear. I knew when I was sitting up in the hospital bed every day, I knew I had to heal and get better.
Exactly.
I had to shake back.
Right.
But for the most part, I had no intentions on going back to the oil field, going back to work. I knew what my purpose was. I was like, I kept telling myself every day, like, all right, God, I hear you, man.
Yeah, loud and clear. Now let me ask this question. Like with you now saying it's like now the money doesn't matter. Like nothing about living matters more than what God has set out for you. And on top of that, taking care of your son.
Yeah.
Like, were you scared to think about like, okay, where's my next dollar going to come from? How am I going to eat? Were you thinking about that kind of stuff, or were you just ready to just dive into just your purpose?
It's gonna come.
You just trusted.
Yeah.
I definitely just trusted it. I grew up, we grew up poor, not having a lot of material things and things like that. So I've spent many years, living like that. So now obviously, the bills and things like that, that creates a certain burden on you. But besides that, I knew that I would be able to sustain a not so great lifestyle, going forward. But there was no doubt in my mind that at some point that it was gonna pick up, and not only was it gonna pick up and be better than it was before I got hurt, I wasn't gonna have to go clock in for anybody to do it.
Man,
Right.
Like I'm not gonna say the amount, but I couldn't help but think that when I did that speaking engagement a couple weeks ago at the mission, they built bombs and things like that in Minden, right outside Shreveport, Louisiana. I couldn't help but think that when I was in the oil field, we did safety meetings every morning, roughly 20, 30 minutes. And sometimes I would have to speak, say certain things, and everybody would. So depending on what type of equipment you were running. So now I did a same safety meeting, telling my story, and I got paid as much as I would have for a 2-week check working in the oil field.
Wow. For
And
just speaking.
Just and like I said, man, God, it's
he definitely prepped you from the beginning as far as speaking in front of people. It's now being on your own time, being on his time, speaking to people. Man, that's amazing.
Wow.
Now I saw some other things like I was all in your gram, man. I ain't gonna even lie.
Yeah.
I was all in your gram.
As soon as I came across, I was like, let me scroll. Okay.
She was like, hey, check out this guy. But I see not only did your vision touch locally, but it also touched to some athletes here in Dallas, Texas. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, man. Shout out to my boy Dakota, Dak Prescott.
Yes.
I was, I tell everybody I'm from Shreveport because I actually stayed in Shreveport before I came to Princeton, Houghton, Louisiana. But when I was in foster care from 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old to 16, I went to Houghton Middle School, went to Houghton High School. Now, my best friend growing up is Jeremy Hicks.
Okay.
He was our next door neighbor from down the street. Played basketball, football, fought together, all that crazy stuff. Now, he's Dak Prescott's best friend.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, Jeremy had pretty much showed Dak the motivational video, and obviously, Dak's dealt with some crazy things in his life here recently. So it really touched him, and so Jeremy basically said, like, hey, man, Dak, he loves it. He loves your mission. He's going to donate. And as far as going into the future, he's going to want to, obviously he wants to heal from his injury. And going into the future, he wants to take his Faith Fight Finish Foundation and merge with Paint a Purpose. Cool. And y'all do some things in the future together. Man. So to me, I'm thankful for the donation, but it was way bigger than that.
Right.
Yeah. The fact that I get to come together with my quarterback, America's quarterback, and help be a positive influence on people's lives, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
I saw that. I was like, man, that is dope. That I didn't know how it got to him, but I was like, that's dope because I know I'm not a Cowboys fan by far. Everybody knows I'm a Bears fan. But however, the nurturing heart that Dak has, just seeing where he came from, I remember him getting basically picked by the Cowboys, getting that phone call with his family, and just seeing the individual that he's been and that he's grown to be, never being cocky, always being humble. And I believe his mom was the one that's not alive, isn't it?
It's Peggy.
Yeah. And him just, thanking God and just crying when he got that phone call. I just knew from there, I was like, you know what? he's gonna be a straight up guy.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna be a
that.
very genuine guy, and just to see you guys collaborating, or in the future gonna collaborate.
Yep.
It's just amazing, man.
Yeah.
It's just another reason
Yeah.
to like walk in your purpose, man.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
Don't be
Yeah.
fear. Like, I think that's what stops people from walking into their purpose. It's fear or whatever. But I don't know. Like we were just saying, God and the universe have funny ways of getting you there.
Exactly.
Like if you're not specific and if you taking too long, like listen, we got people that need to hear your testimony. You taking too long. Like
Yep.
we gotta make it happen.
Well, yeah, you're right about the fear part. And I was having this conversation with someone yesterday. If you want to get to a certain level in life, you have to be uncomfortable. Obviously, I was put in a very uncomfortable position, being hurt, and now here we are. So and with life, you can't. A 9 to 5, nothing wrong with that. We all need workers. Everybody can't be entrepreneurs,
Exactly.
bosses,
Exactly.
or whatever the case may be. And to be honest with you, I don't consider myself any of those. I'm just a guy who went through a traumatic experience that God is using to carry out His will. That's it.
Right.
I'm not boxing myself in none of that. But you have to be uncomfortable if you want different results in life. And another thing that I want to. Because I feel like this may help somebody out there, because it doesn't bother me, but it kind of trips me out when I think about it. America's quarterback not only got T-shirts, some painted purple T-shirts, and posted it to his social media, but he also donated to my nonprofit, which in turn helped other families going through some
blessings,
some other things. I have family and friends that have not once purchased a T-shirt.
Wow.
And that's fine.
Right.
That's fine. But those out there, as far as wanting to start a business, or don't let that deter you, because it's not going to happen how we want it to happen.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all God's plan. It's all His plan. So we may think, auntie, uncle, brother, sister, we may think, oh, y'all supposed to, like, no, it maybe it takes America's quarterback or somebody famous, and so that's my, like, don't let that discourage you. Don't let that, if anything, make it
Your motivation.
make it be motivation and make you go harder.
Yeah. Because
I'm not gonna lie, stuff like that doesn't bother me, because I know it's still gonna do what it does. Pain and Purpose is still gonna be worldwide. It doesn't necessarily bother me like that, but I use it as motivation. Michael Jordan, as great as he was, he still used small things. He knew he was the greatest basketball player.
Yeah.
Spike Lee putting his arm around it, like, on the sidelines.
Yeah.
A fan heckling him. He's like, all right, bet, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
Exactly.
So that's how I am. I use little small things like that in the back of my mind, to when I feel like I want to get complacent or get lackadaisical, it's like, hold on, wait.
Yeah.
Nah, I got something for you. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
So that's my mindset.
Yeah, that's crazy, because like even with the After Dark Talk podcast, I can say this. Christina and I, we have listeners, right? Of course we want to grow. Of course we want to head in the right direction, and that's what we're doing this year. That's what we put down on our focus for this year, is to make sure that we build this. But just the listeners, when we get certain feedback, it's like, dang, I didn't even know you listen. Because my mother and them don't even listen.
Yeah.
My family don't listen nor share the content that we put out there, but so many strangers do. And I had a good friend that tell me, was like, hey man, I might not tell you that I listen to it, but I listen to it every week, or whenever you guys post something, I always listen to it. But if there's one thing I want to tell you that I'm proud of, is that you finally listened to Steve Harvey. He said, there's the cliff, just jump.
Yep.
And that's what we did. I brought Christina in, and then when I brought Christina in, like, I felt like the podcast just blew up more than I can ever push it, because with her mind, which is crazy because she knows so much stuff, like, she's able to get me in contact with people, and I'm able to get her into contact with people, and then us working together, it brought this here.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I love, man. And this logo, man, it's just, this shirt, I'm not gonna even lie to you, man. I didn't want anything from you. If anything, I wanted us to bless you and your and you're 501c at the same time.
Yeah.
But man, just this right here, man, it speaks volumes, man.
And it got his signature at the bottom too. All the shirts. Hey, if y'all see a shirt in the streets,
I want y'all to look at this.
Yeah, yours got no. They all have them.
Look at this. Even on the backside. Look at that. Even on the backside. Yeah, he's right.
Okay,
the signature
It says "WOP don't stop."
There it is. WOP don't stop. There it is.
Now WOP, as in Shorty Duwop.
My nickname in high school was Duwop.
Okay.
Okay.
To break it down real quick, it started off so crazy. My good friend Michael Cooks, Huntington basketball team, class of 05. This was my first year at Huntington.
He made me feel old.
When this was my first year at Huntington when I left Halton, and we was in practice, and I had did something, and he was like, "Man, we're gonna call you Duwop," because they were looking for a nickname.
Yeah.
They were like, and he always gave crazy nicknames, but it stuck.
Yeah.
He said, "You do too much, and your head shaped like a wop." And we looking like, what? Because I was always over the place, you know.
Yeah.
And so the next day, Coach Mac Jones, our head coach, he said, "I think I fouled somebody or did something crazy." He said, "Duwop, what is you doing?"
Oh,
Everybody was like, they even stopped practice. They were like, "Yeah, that's it, Duwop." And so going forward, like I was always an outgoing person, always the life of the party, you know, always just naturally making people laugh by doing something crazy. So people were like, "Man, WOP, you just don't stop. WOP don't stop."
Wow.
And so that's how that came
okay,
about.
okay.
And what's so fitting is here we are, even after all that. Still keep going.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
What better name, man? Like
You
I said,
didn't.
I couldn't write a better script, man.
Right.
I couldn't wrote a better script.
My biggest takeaway is you didn't die. You got a second chance. That's when I saw that post, I was like, yo, that's the post we're gonna go for. That's the one I gotta talk about. So let me ask you this question. All right. So how does your organization work? So say for instance, if they like just give a scenario, like if there's a victim, how do you step in? How does your organization, basically go in and effectively help out someone?
Through donations and grants and things like that, which we're working on. Basically, our mission is going to be to help people out that's been through a traumatic event.
Okay.
So let's say, for instance, if there's a young man who needs a special wheelchair, but his family just can't afford it, we'll step in, buy him a wheelchair.
Nice.
If there's someone, a child, or let's just say someone going through some mental health issues, they just lost their mom, their dad, they're a good person, and they've always been a good person, always help people out, we step in and we pay for their mental health. Like we pay for their counselor.
Nice.
If like I've done before, if there's a young man that's been through a burn accident or whatever, and his mom needs help with bills, just like people help me out. We come in and give them, money to help them out. So regardless of the traumatic experience, regardless of, like I said in the video, whether you're, rape survivor, and it doesn't matter. Whatever your pain is, we want to step in and we want to help those people. Now, as far as the money part, my thing is, I don't care how much money we come into this group home today and give them. Years from now, they're not going to remember how much it was. I want to be the Michael Jordan of 501c3s of nonprofits.
I love that.
When we leave this organization, this foster care, whatever it is, when we leave, I want people to have a different mindset. I want them thinking, before we came in, okay, you feeling sorry for yourself, whatever you're going through. I want you thinking when we leave, like, man, it's no excuses now. I get it. I got it. I took in what he said. Now I'm going to go home in the mirror and say, okay, what am I going to do with my pain? Like, okay, my thing is, there's 7.8 billion people in this world. Everybody, your darkest moment of your life, your darkest moment, y'all's darkest moment, everybody has been there before. Right. And that person chose to get off their ASS and do something about it. Yeah. Like I said in the video, it's okay, we cry, it's tough, it's hard. Okay, what's next?
Yeah.
Right.
What's next? Yeah. We went through it.
Yeah.
Let's go on. So I've always been a no excuse type person. Like, don't feel sorry for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm moving forward. I'm still here. So obviously it's a reason why I'm still here. I could easily focus on, oh my God, why didn't I look in the gas can and take 3 seconds?
What can you do about it now? Yeah.
I want to focus on, why did God keep me here after this happened?
Exactly.
I'm all
That's
about
the bigger
energy.
question. Yes.
I'm all about energy. Like, I'm not wasting Like, nah. So that's my
I love
mindset. So
that.
I want people, when we're done, when we leave their presence, the money is cool. We
Exactly.
helped somebody out. We did our purpose. But I want them to have a different mindset on life, because that's truly, like Eric Thomas said, I can come in and give you money all day, you know, but until you apply yourself, you know, and then use that, you know, and it's for nothing. It doesn't matter. So.
Yeah. Man, you got me over here about to tear up, man.
Like, for real.
I'm just being honest with you, man. There's one thing I want to say, and it just completely like just slipped my mind. God dang it. What was it? I can't. It just, it literally just slipped my mind. I don't know. It's going to come back to me.
Meanwhile,
Let's think about it, Steve.
websites,
That's
social
right.
media info.
Yes. Our website for T-shirts and things like that is shoppain2purpose2.com. It's also on my social media. Now I have a pain2_purpose social media for Pain to Purpose, but I'm more active on the WOP Don't Stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, a lot of people at some point, like as far as the funny me, because my personality, WOP Don't Stop is going to be its own separate entity.
Yeah.
Pain to Purpose will do what it does. It'll change lives. But WOP Don't Stop will be the person that's doing comedy and movies and things like that. Right. So my thing is, I don't want to just give them, okay, this is the business side. Okay, with Pain to Purpose, we do this. Like, no, I want y'all to know the real me.
Yeah.
Like, I want y'all to know that, like, you know, this is not another regular nonprofit that just, like, nah, like, they
It's the
actually have a good
23.
time.
It's the 23 of nonprofit.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying?
like
It's just different, man.
Yeah.
We different. Like, we'll talk about some real stuff. It's okay to go out and have we're not at church.
Yeah.
You know?
Right,
Like,
right.
no, so I'm gonna. Now, obviously, you can't put everything on social media, but
I learned that one.
Yeah, you can't put everything. So there's certain things in my life I may not, you know, need to share, but I want people
To know
be
you.
able to know me and be able to relate. You know.
Okay.
So I push the WOP Don't Stop on Instagram hard, and then we have a Pain #2 Purpose Facebook page on Facebook. So.
And how do the people donate
To
to the?
well, recently they've been donating through checks, like P.O. Box. Pain to Purposes P.O. Box is P.O. Box 17950, Shreveport, Louisiana, zip code 71138.
Okay.
I actually got one from a good friend of mine that had also been in a burn accident last year. This week to the P.O. Box. So most people, they'll just write a check and put it in the P.O. Box.
Okay.
Some people may want to do a what do you call that?
Cash
Zelle
App
or Cash App or?
No, like you direct wire transfer.
Wire
Oh,
transfers?
okay.
I've had a couple of wire transfers.
Okay.
But for the most part, I mean, that's the address if anybody wants to send a check, or
Cash
I've had
or
people
check,
give me
isn't
cash,
Yeah.
Cash App. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not picky. You could bring in one of them water gallon jugs full of pennies. And
Right, like here.
Hey,
It's
I can
almost
take
been
that
the
to
same.
take it to Walmart on y'all, man. Y'all don't know. All I need is a coin star, and I'm good.
It's for the cause. It don't even
It's
matter.
almost been the same. So
Yeah.
you know, but and that's what's crazy about it, man. Like, I get so excited, not because I just got a check for this and this. I'm excited because now I can go help somebody.
Right.
Exactly.
And I don't. And that's the thing, man. Like, I truly don't care about the money. I'm not chasing a bag.
Yeah.
I'm just simply, like, my barber always messes with me. Shout out to Brandon Nash in Shreveport. We always joke about doing God's will. I don't want nothing more, nothing less. I want what I deserve.
Right.
Exactly.
That's it. So
Exactly.
so as long as I'm doing God's will, as long as I'm helping people, changing people's lives through my personal experiences. That's gonna come anyway.
Exactly.
That's true.
It's gonna come anyway.
Yeah.
That's
you
true.
know,
That's
just trust
true.
the process.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Well, I know one thing I want to manifest into you, man. Just being here, just listening to you, Charles, man. I just know that the Pain to Purpose brand is gonna go over the top this year, man.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna overfill, your Kool-Aid jar more than what you think it is, man. And I know for sure, just with people listening to us, because we have very humbler listeners, very humbling after darkers. That if we just ask them to do something, we know they're just gonna show their butts out, man. I promise you, they're gonna show their butts out. And I mean, just from the after dark talk, you know, me and my sister, you know, we took care of you last night. Meaning to tell you, they call him Sir Charles, man. That dude was he said he was feeling like a king last night.
Oh my God! How you get them people to do that?
They acted out at the hotel, man. But
they did.
But not only that, man, we came together again, man, and we want to give something to the pain to purpose.
To the
cause.
I can't even talk, man. I'm so excited because I'm tearing up at the same time, brother. But we seen you blessing people with these, you know, all the time. So we basically wanted to
appreciate that.
we're gonna show everybody right here. This
appreciate that.
We're gonna donate to my man Charles to the pain to purpose.
Yes, sir.
So that's to you, brother. That's from us, man. And that's why I was a little late today, man.
How did y'all get it on there like that?
Man.
I've been having to write it.
No. I'm gonna give you the content. I'm gonna give you the connect, man.
Okay.
For $40, actually it was $54 with shipping. Come from California. But FedEx shipping, they do it within 3 days. Cause I didn't think I'll call Christine, man. It's not gonna make it. I don't know how we're gonna do this. But however, they promised me that it was gonna be here today, and I had to run all the way 30 minutes north where I stay at to make sure I get that for you.
Yeah. These official.
That. They have a dry erase one too, to where you can write it in. But they also do those to where you can actually hold on to them, and like if you get yourself an office or something like that, you can always you know put them up and whatnot. But that's a little something I wanted to do a little bit more, man. But like I said, I'm suspended right now, so my money looking funny right now.
But don't worry,
but you gave me. You gave me the biggest blessing that money can't give you, man. You just basically
honestly, your presence.
Your presence, and not only that, man,
anything.
your story, and you just gave me reinsurance in my own self to go out there and to support my two kids. Not only support my two kids, but make sure that Chrissy and I have a good time on this show, so we can have more guests like you, or if not more guests like you, have you back here on the show. But man, you just instilled vision. You just basically refilled my cup back up, man. And I'm just saying, I'm humbly blessed that you're here, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate you, man.
I definitely felt the spirit of here today, man. You know, as far as just, I'm big on, like I said, I'm big on energy. I'm real big on energy. I'm not gonna lie, I've been invited to certain things, and you know, I'm not trying to act like I'm funny or I don't feel like I'm better than anybody else. But if I'm not feeling the energy, I just
walk away.
Because it's been so many things, man. I'm not even talking about the pandemic. It's just been certain things that have happened with, you know, as far as people that I never thought would cross me. You know, 20 opened up my eyes to a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And going forward, like, I'm gonna be big, like, because I've always been nice. I'm passive, like I don't like confrontation.
I'm the same way.
So you know, I can take it there, but you know, the older me is like, man, whatever. You know, I'll let God deal with it.
We don't need Duwop going there at all.
Right.
But yeah, so going forward, I'm just like, I'm just gonna tell it like it is.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we can agree to disagree.
Exactly.
You know, but if I'm not feeling it, I'm just not feeling it. So
in the words of Chrissy, let's argue.
Let's argue.
Yeah, but man, like I said, dude, it's just like, man, Charles, I'm glad that Christina ran across your page, man. Like I said, man, this has been the biggest blessing, and I hope that our After Darkers got a chance to not only learn something about purpose, and not only learn how to find purpose, but actually reinstill purpose back in your life. I hope that this episode right here just basically
a little push,
exactly, and refilled your cup, and like Sis said, man, you know, pushed you a little bit more.
Yeah.
With that being said, you got any closing remarks?
The Serenity Prayer.
Oh, we bringing it back.
Yes.
The Serenity Prayer is back.
Perfect.
Hey, exactly. Let's go ahead and get the Serenity
yes.
Prayer in, and we're going to close it out.
All right. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Blessings, blessings, blessings. Hey, guys, we want to thank you so much for tuning in to After Dark Talk Podcast today. My man, Charles, go ahead and give us your Instagram one more time.
Yeah, Instagram, WOP Don't Stop, WOPDONTSTOP. And then the other Instagram for Pain to Purpose is lowercase pain2_purpose. But I did want to leave with one thing.
Okay.
For anybody that's, I want to get a picture with this before we go.
Oh yeah,
for
we
sure,
definitely gonna
for
take some
sure.
photos.
Yeah. One thing that was, I've had a lot of conversations and a lot of knowledge passed down to me along my journey, especially since I got hurt. And one thing an older guy told me that really stuck with me, that again, man, gave me chills, and I was like, man, I needed that. I've always kind of been that type of person, but like he broke it down for me, and he told me one day, he said, I want everybody in this room to imagine their self. Okay, get a piece of paper, get a pen, and I want everybody in this room to write down an issue, every problem you're going through, whether it be marital, financial, I don't care what it is. Write these issues down on a piece of paper. Now, throw the note card down on the floor, and on the count of 3, he said, I'm going to shuffle them up like some dominoes. On the count of 3, I want everybody to pick up a card. But the only catch is nobody's picking up that same card. He said, I promise you, by the time I get to looking at your card, he said, some people card, you're going to get halfway through. Hey, man, where my card at? I need mine back.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't care how hard life is, somebody else out there has it a whole lot worse.
Exactly.
And that's what's carried me through my situation. All that pain I went through, you know, people ask me like, man, that pain was like, it was torture. Like, what made you get through it? The fact that I can feel it?
Exactly.
Somebody didn't wake up today.
Right.
You know, and that's powerful, man. When you can thank God, is as much as that hurt me, is as painful as that was, I was thankful to be alive, to be able to feel it, because I knew at some point it would subside.
Yeah.
You know, and now here we are. So I definitely want, you know, and you know, we're all humans, like we all go through issues. So it's easy to wake up and complain about this, and this.
Exactly.
But we need that constant reminder, because, you know, my hand may be, you know, kind of messed up because these bones, but I still have my hand.
Right.
You know, my face may look a little different, but, you know, I've seen pictures of burned people. You don't even know who they are.
Exactly.
So you can still recognize me. I had a trach in my neck for 9 months. My sister was born with fetal alcohol syndrome. She had a trach in her neck her whole life. You know, so that's what keeps me going. The fact that somebody else out there would love to switch spots with me.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Oh, my
man.
goodness.
Hey, man, you guys definitely took something from today.
Yeah.
I know we usually do the Did You Know section, and we were going to talk about what happened at Capitol Hill, but I'm going to change that up, sis, because I think that going along with Pain and Purpose, I want to let you guys know that right now, I want to say like for 2021 period, Greyhound has a free bus ticket for any runaways that's trying to get back home. I just felt the need to say that. Something just told me just to let y'all know that, because I don't know if somebody gonna come across this on YouTube or on Spreaker or whatever. But if you are a runaway, you could actually go to any local Greyhound bus station and they will get you home for the price of $0. So just to let y'all know that.
Yep.
But other than that, man, we thank you guys for tuning in today. We're going to go ahead and get up out of here. We're going to chop it up a little bit more with Charles, take some photos. But you guys can definitely follow him on Instagram and also Facebook. We will be putting his social links down in the description of the YouTube video, and also within our podcast links. It will be there as well. And then we're also going to put his address there, too, in case you guys want to donate like we did. I mean, we don't care if it's like $3, $10, man.
Anything
10 times
helps.
10 is, you know what I mean?
Yes,
So
so-
anything that we can do to help out somebody that's in need, that's what we are here called to do. And, you know, us as humans, you know, sometimes we get divided with skin color, but at the end of the day, we only have one Father. That's what it is. But other than that, man, we want to say deuces. We love you guys, and have a good week.